Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And rewatch. I've seen this movie maybe four times, I guess, by now. Came out in 2017. As you can see, it is Kong Skull Island. So I've never done a review of this one. So since I've done the Godzilla vs King Kong movie, thought I'll do this one as well because I really wanted to watch it once again. It's a movie that I enjoy thoroughly, and it's one of my favorite. I think you call them monster films. So yeah, Kong Skull Island is some movie that I watched in the theater, and I remember cursing this couple who had brought in a baby to the fucking film theater, and every time the bomb was exploding, kids start to scream. The baby started to scream, and after about a few minutes, they had to leave. Stupidest decision ever. Anyway, 2017 American monster film directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts. It is a reboot of the King Kong franchise, and I'm really enjoying the. I must say that I'm not the biggest fan of the Godzilla films, but the Godzilla versus King Kong and this movie I really like. And it is the second film, of course, in the new Monsterverse, but the 11th film overall in the King Kong franchise. Starring Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, John Goodman. Oh, he's not in Marvel movie. He's not a Marvel superhero character. John Goodman, Jing Tian, Toby Kebbell, John Ortiz, Corey Hawkins, Jason Mitchell, Shea Wingham, and John C. Reilly. And I really like John C. Reilly's role in this. Even his acting in this film is actually kind of funny. So basically, the movie starts off with two World War II pilots, an American and a Japanese one. They both crash land on an island. They're out to kill each other when a huge hand comes and stops them both. And then we move to 1973, where Bill Randa, head of the US government organization Monarch, plans a search for primeval creatures on the recently discovered Skull Island. And of course, the reason why it's Skull Island is because the shape kind of looks like a skull. So, after getting all the necessary permits, he recruits a US Army unit commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Peterson Packard. He, after the end of the Vietnam War, they're getting sent back home. He, however, is a career colonel, career military man, and he doesn't really like the fact that there's no that they don't have a mission to go to. So he's one of those people who is only happy when there is war. That's the first thing that I actually get it. So he's really upset. His unit is basically happy that they get to go home. They can go back to their families. But at the last moment, just before they leave, he gets a call asking him to do this mission. So he's pretty happy. His men aren't that happy, however. And they arrive at. So they arrive. They have a team that come in. Going to Skull Island, Packard's men, they start dropping seismic explosives um, and trying to map the island. However, the ulterior motive by Randa is to, they know that there's something living underneath it. It's kind of the hollow earth theory. So they want to bring them out, basically. And yeah, shit hits the fan. So the I think one of the coolest things about this film is the helicopter scene when they're going out and the music dun 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 dun, and then Paranoid plays down 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 down. Okay, sorry, stop. Air guitar. um, so and then all of a sudden, a tree comes flying in and crashes into one of the helicopters. That's one of the best scenes ever because a pissed off Kong is like, nah, you guys are not getting through here right now, bro. You're pissing me off, pissing off all the animals on the planet, dude. And there's a big crash landing, and then they get split up. Tom Hiddleston's character, by the way, is a tracker who is an ex-British Special Air Service captain who served in the Vietnam War as well, but he is now living in, and so he's hired to basically be an animal tracker. kind of thing. Samuel L. Jackson, of course, is the colonel, and he and Brie Larson kind of both of them kind of have a kind of friendship because they are the non-military, they're the non-scientist. She is a award-winning photographer, so she wants to take photographs of this. She attaches herself to the mission. So basically, they are having to escape the huge animals, and it's like fantastic to see these creatures. The spider thingy, which is like they are the legs basically look like um, these trees or stalks and all that stuff. The way that kills, whew, those are like fantastic to see. The skull, over the skull crawlers, they were awakened by the bombings and they start killing off people left, right, and center. So one team gets to go to that is with a couple of soldiers, Randa's two assistants, a male and a female. One played by Jin Tang, who's a biologist, and the other is what's his name? Houston Brooks, I guess. He's a geologist and Yale University graduate who's working with Monarch. So they Tom Hiddleston's character's name is James Conrad. Brie Larson's character's name is Mason Weaver. They and a couple of others, they reach a settlement of these native tribe kind of thing over there, and they find John C. Reilly. So John C. Reilly was his character was the American fighter pilot who gets shot down, and basically the fighting was put an end to by Kong, and he and the Japanese pilot later became what was his name? Peng? I forgot the name of the. Well, because they don't really show him after that. His name is. Something Pei, I can't remember it. Gunpei or something like that. So they later on become friends and they live together on the island along with the natives. And he knows about Kong. He knows Kong is basically king over here. He's worshipped like a god. He protects the island. He protects them as well. They're not scared of him because they worship him. And so he says, the military is going to create a lot of problems over here. So Packard and his men, along with Randa, they all come in, and then a lot of them get killed. Finally, we are down to a small team, and in Mason's benefit, she tries to help out this huge buffalo who's stuck under a helicopter that's been downed, and she tries to push it by herself, but Kong sees this, comes and takes it off. So he knows that some of them are, good people, and they look at him in his eyes later on, and they know that he's actually peaceful, but he will defend his territory. He will defend the place if required. Yeah, and then all those creatures, a lot of them get killed, and finally Packard wants to lure Kong to his death, and finally they almost get to do it, but King Kong gets his result. He kills everybody. John Goodman's character gets killed earlier on, but the final scene, one of the final people to get killed is Packard, who, typical Samuel L. Jackson, he said, "Oh, mother," and he gets smashed to death. So finally, the remaining team, the survivors, they reach the rendezvous point and able to leave off in the ships that they came into the particular area, and Kong basically watches them leave. And in the final scene, in the closing scenes, in the credit scenes, basically, you can see John C. Reilly's character, whose name is Marlowe, reunites with his wife and son, who's played by the same actor that played John C. Reilly's character as a young man during that World War II scene. So basically they know that there's going to be more creatures coming in: Mothra, Godzilla, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, and so there's some paintings in a cave or something like that. So basically that leads off into King Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whichever the name of the movie is. But I love these two movies. Not the Godzilla movies, not that much. Anyhow, this is one of my favorite, these kind of creature, big monster films. In these two films, they do make Kong to look out like to be actually almost human. To be fair, he's an intelligent ape, sensitive and caring, basically. So, yeah. So the movie gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Very enjoyable. Fantastic to watch in the theater. But then after that, watching it on my TV has been equally enjoyable. So, good movie to watch on a rainy afternoon. Like, if you want to sit with your family and eat some popcorn and and drink a coffee or maybe a beer or something like that. So, thank you guys. 8.5 out of 10 for me.